Hey guys, and welcome to an episode of Skyrim. Let's begin, shall we? Been a while since I've done a Skyrim episode. It's even been a even longer while since I've even recorded a different series. So might as well, right? Gosh, just so beautiful. That's I'm gonna believe the main thing about Skyrim is it's beautiful. Compared to a lot of other games, Skyrim set the standard. You're gonna get you. Okay, let's see if I remember. Okay, Daedric bow, and I got a sword. Alright, cool. Hey, some shrooms. Alright. Called Bleeding Crown. Hope I don't bleed when I taste some. For some alchemy. Yeah. Do I even have a pickaxe? Oh wow, look at all that shit. Nope, I do not have a pickaxe. What's my smithing skill? Okay, alchemy is 100, smithing and enchanting. Okay, cool. Matter of fact, what have I leveled up? I must have leveled up something. Nope, nothing. My character's a loser. A loser who can't level up. Oh my god, it's hard to see. Tough to see. Whatever words you're comfortable with. Let's see, Lost Legends of Skyrim by Talsgar the Elder, Archivist of Winterhold. The history of Skyrim is vast, predating even the most ancient records of man and earth. Much has been lost, fallen to the ravages of war or the turning of the ages, but nothing is ever truly forgotten. Where no records exist, the legend and folk tales offer us the key to the past, a way to piece together the truths half remembered in the minds of men. For generations, the people of Morthal have told whispered tales of the Pale Lady, a ghostly woman who wanders the northern marshes, forever seeking her lost daughter. Some say she steals children who wander astray. Others that her sobbing wails strike dead all those who hear it. But behind these tales may lie a kernel of truth, for ancient records speak of Amriella, a mysterious figure Ys Grimoire has battled for decades and finally sealed away. Reachmen tell the story of Falon, Red Eagle, an ancient king who rallied his people and drove back the armies of Cyrodiil with a flaming sword. Though accounts vary, there too seem to be based on an underlying truth. The imperial chronicles of Empress Hestia mention a rebel leader of that era who was eventually cornered and slain in battle at the cost of a full legion of men. But some tales prove are harder to analyze. Among scholars, perhaps the best known is the forbidden legend of the Archmage Galdur. In the dawning days of the First Era, the story goes there lives a powerful wizard by the name of Galdur. Wise and just, he was well known in the courts of King Harold and the Jarls of Skyrim, and his aid and counsel were sought by men and mer alike. And then he was murdered. Some say one of his sons killed him, other that King Harold, jealous of his power, gave the order. But Galdor's three sons fled into the night, pursued by a company of Harald's best warriors, and the Lord Germund, the king's personal battle mage. A great chase ensued from the wilds of the Reach to the glacial north. One brother is said to have perished in the wounds of Falgunthor at the foot of Solitude. The others were run to the ground soon thereafter, and once it was done, King Harold ordered every record of the murders destroyed, and Galdor's name and deeds were struck from the rolls of history. Even today, few sources remain, and no bard will tell the tale. But perhaps the truth yet remains in some ancient ruin, waiting to be unknown. For nothing is ever truly forgotten. What? Oh, I've got that. Okay, cool. Anyways, it's too dark. And move it up by 3%. Geronimo. My only question is, do I have... No, but it looks like I need some water breathing. You don't have enough magicka. Well, shit. I forgot to put water breathing on there. Whoops. Well, this is gonna make some levels tough. Hey, a draught of water breathing. Okay, cool. Time to get out of here. Raise it by another 3%. Oh, this is much better for me. And yet, it still looks like a dark cave to y'all. Come on, I'm a little rusty, but come on. What was that? How come you no fight? Man, these spiders are weak. I like it. Oh, look at that. So much trouble. See, if you cheat yourself. You don't cheat anybody else. Unless you're playing against somebody else, and that's what you're cheating against. Some people don't mind, some people do. Personally, if you do cheat, it can make for better content. Better creativity, better a lot of stuff, you know? And if you don't, there's always first reactions. Okay, nothing there. Oh, this place. Alright. Well, that was a miss. Alright, pachoon. Just making sure it's the right thing. Okay, eagle. What was the next one? Dolphin. What was this one? Same thing, dolphin and snake. Okay, cool, that one doesn't need to be changed at all. That's great news. Oops. Looks like I went into the worst, the bad country, man. I'm in the bad part town. Let me just make it better. Snake. Hey, it's pretty fishy to me. Dolphin. Whoops. Supple Nord. No, so that was the only shield I had, okay. I'll take that money. Oh. Whoa. Oh, excellent shot. Yeah, thanks for stopping, man. That was just very... That made my day. Not really, but... Oh, and there's one up here. Isn't that just the best? Okay, well, it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to reach that person. Maybe it is pretty bright. I don't know. I got the brightness on my phone down. So, yeah. Leather strips, some stamina. Oh, he heard something. I thought I was supposed to be silent. Hey, Jordan Bow, that'll get me some money. Sorry, I'm off limits. From you, Dr. Draugr, Death Lord. Don't mind if I take the key. Don't mind if I take the scroll. And don't mind if I take this letter. Lord Germont, Archmage of Windhelm. Lord Battle Mage of King Hall. Magus, keep thy vigil eternal. Serve now in death as you did in life. By these seals our realm preserve. From traitors thee and the charm of strife. Ooh, charm of strife. Let's go take down these charms of strife. Ah, I've been blinded. And now I see a dead spider. Alright. Uh, hey, I found some insane poison. That's how people go insane. Give them some frenzy poison and whoop, they went insane. You always gotta wait. You always gotta watch out for those people. Especially the Garys in Fallout 3. Or is it Fallout 4? Not Fallout 4, but Fallout New Vegas. I don't know. I have you now. Alright. That was fun. But I've got places to go, people to see. I can't stand all the way over here for all of my days. Oh yeah, obviously a trap. Obviously not a trap. Oh, okay. Are you ready to fight? Well, that Draugr died. Hey, Mr. Draugr. No! Damn. Alright, I'm going down. Really, I jumped down and you ain't got no gold. Such is the life of an adventurer, like me. Alright, is there any extra gold? Nope. Oh, you want to have a mage battle? I'll start. We only use swords over here. Well, that took care of that. Hmm. Well, I took one down. I took another down. Oh. Nah, I knew it was. I knew those wasn't the right one. The right one. And. Ooh. Hey, A for effort. You gotta love jumping around like that. Okay, the one right here. I hit the right. I hit the right one. Right there in the middle. How you can tell us if it has blue light covering it or not. If it has a blue light, it is a fake. Right of ceiling. Be bound here. Sig. This murderer, betrayer, condemned by your crimes against realm and rule. May your name and your deeds be forgotten forever, and the charm which you bear be sealed by our ward. Oh yeah, in case you didn't know, the Galdor amulet has nothing compared to the potential you can have. So which means, if they went back shit crazy on an amulet, uh, that gave you 30 points, that said that made you extremely powerful, uh, yeah. Well, I got news for you. They would go bat shit crazy on armor that can give you about 1,039,996% faster healing, health regeneration. They would go batshit crazy over that. And what's funny is, in this world of Skyrim, in single player mode, I'm the only one that can do it. Farengar can't. The ancient Nords could never do it, but I could. I'm a legend in Skyrim. Yep. Ooh, and I reached a treasure. I'll take a pearl. I'll take a plate, I guess. Sorry, Mr. Plate. Nobody wants you. Scimitar, Staff of Fury, Iron Armor now. Grand Soldier, Potion of Ultimate Magicka, Elven Gauntlets. Oh yeah. You play too many games that have different picking up buttons, you're gonna get confused on which button to press. Like Fallout. Lady Binnock's words and philosophies. Lady Alina Binnock, former master of Valenwood Fighters Guild and head of the Emperor's personal guard in the Imperial City, has been leading a campaign to re-equip soldiers of Tamriel with the sword. I met with her on 3 different occasions for the purposes of this book. The first time was at her suite in the palace, on the balcony overlooking the gardens below. I was early for the interview, which had taken me nearly 6 months to arrange, but she gently chided me for not being even early. I've had time to put up my defenses now, she said, her bright eyes smiling. Lady Binnock is a bosmer, a wood elf, and like her ancestors, took to the bow in her early years. She excelled at sport, and by the age of 14, she had joined the hunting party of her tribe as a jackspa, a long-distance shooter. During the Black Year of 396, when the Parik tribe began the rampage through southeastern Valenwood, with the aid of powers from the Somerset Isle, Lady Binnock fought the futile battle to keep her tribe's land. I killed someone for the first time when I was 16, she says now. I don't remember it very well. He or she was just a blur on the horizon where I aimed my bow. It meant no more to me than shooting an animal. I probably killed 100 people like that during the summer and fall. I didn't really feel like a killer until that winter tide, when I learned what it was like to look a man in the eyes as you spilled his blood. It was a scout from the Park tribe who surprised me while I was on camp watch. We surprised each other, I suppose. Had my bow at my side and I just panicked, trying to string an arrow when he was half a yard away from me. It was the only thing I knew to do. Of course, he struck first with his blade. I just fell back in shock. You always remember the mistakes of your first victim. His mistake was assuming because he had drawn blood and I had fallen, that I was dead. I rushed at him the moment he turned from me towards the sleeping camp of my tribesmen. He was caught off guard and I wrestled his blade away from him. I don't know how many times I stabbed at him, but the time I stopped when the next watch came to relieve me, my arms were black and blue with strain. There was not a solid piece of him left. I had literally cut him into pieces. You see, I had no concept of how to fight or how much it took to kill a man. Lady Binnock, aware of this deficiency in her education, began teaching herself swordsmanship at once. You can't learn how to use a sword in Valenwood, she says. Which isn't to say Bosmer can't use blades, but we're largely self-taught. As much as it hurts when my tribe found it homeless, pushed to the north, it did have one good aspect. It afforded me the opportunity to meet red gods, studying all manners of weapon wielding under it too. tutelage of Wade Akor, Lady Benok excelled. She became a freelance adventurer traveling through the wilds of southern Hammerfell and northern Valenwood, protecting caravans and visiting dignitaries from various dangers indigenous to the population. Unfortunately, before we were able to pursue her story of her early years any further, Lady Binnock was called away on urgent summons from the Emperor, which is often the case with the Imperial Guard. And in these troubled times, perhaps more so than in the past, when I tried to contact her for another talk, her servants informed me that their mistress was in Skyrim. Another month passed, and when I visited her suite, I was told she was in High Rock. To her credit, Lady Binnock actually sought me out for her second interview on Sun's Dusk of that year. I was in a tavern in the city called the Blood and Rooster. When I felt her hand on my shoulder, she sat down at the rude table and continued her tale as if it had never been interrupted. She returned to the theme of her days as an adventurer, and told me about the first time she ever felt confident with a sword. I owned at that time an enchanted Dai Katana, quite a good one, of Daedric metal. It wasn't an original Akaviri, not even of design. I didn't have that kind of money, but it served my primary purpose of delivering as much damage as with little effort on my part as possible. Akor had taught me how to fence, but when faced with a life or death situation, I always fell back on the old overhand wall. A pack of orcs had stolen some gold from a local chieftain in Medita, and I went looking for them in one of the Umquitius dungeons that dot the countryside in that region. There were the usual rats and giant spiders, and I was enough of a veteran that by then to dispatch them with relative ease. The problem came when I found myself in a pitch black room, and all around me I heard the grunts of orcs nearing in. I waved my sword around me, connecting with nothing, hearing their footsteps coming nearer. Somehow I managed to hold back my fear and to remember the simple exercise Master Akor had taught me. I listened, stepped sideways, swung, twisted, stepped forward, swung in a circle, turned around, sidestepped, and swung. My instinct was right. The orcs had gathered into a circle around me, and when I found a light, I saw that they were all dead. That's when I focused on my study of swordplay. I'm stupid enough to require a near-death experience to see the practical purposes, you see. Lady Bennock spent the remainder of the interview responding to in her typically blunt way to the ferocity of various myths that surrounded her and her career. It was true that she became the master of the Valenwood Fighters Guild after winning a duel with the former master, who was a stooge of the Imperial Battle Mage, the traitor Jaeger Thorn. It was not true that she was the one responsible for Valenwood's guild's disintegration 2 years later. Actually, the membership in the Valenwood chapter was healthy, but in Tamriel, overall, the move was not conducive for the continued existence of a non-partisan organization of the freelance warriors. It was true that she first came to the Emperor's attention when she defended Queen Akorithi of Sentinel from a Breton assassin. It was not true that the assassin was hired by someone in the High Court of Daggerfall. At least she says wirely. That has never been proven. It was also true that she married her former servant Birkin after he had been in her service for 11 years. No one knows how to keep my weaponry home like he does. She says it's a practical business. I either had to give him a raise or marry him. The only story I asked her that she would neither admit nor refute was the one about Calaxes, the Emperor's bastard. When I brought up the name, she shrugged, professing no knowledge of the affair. I pressed on with the details of the story. Calaxes, though not in the line for succession, had been given the archbishopric of the One, a powerful position in the imperial city, and indeed over all Tamriel, where that religion is honored. Whispering began immediately that Calaxes believed that the gods were angered with the secular governments of Tamriel and the emperors specifically. It was even said that Calaxes advocated full-scale rebellion to establish a theocracy over the empire. It is certainly true, I pressed on, that the emperor's relationship with Calaxes had become very stormy, and that legalization had been passed to limit the church's authority. That is up until the moment when Calaxes disappeared, suddenly without notice, to his closet of friends. Many said that Lady Binnock and the Imperial Guard assassinated the Archbishop Calaxes in the sacristy of his church. Sacristy of his church. The date usually given was the 29th of Sundas, 3rd era, 498. Of course, responds Lady Binnock with one of her mysterious grins. I don't need to tell you that the Imperial Guard's position is as protectors of the throne, not assassins. But surely no one is more trusted than the Guard for such a sensitive operation, I say carefully. Lady Binnock acknowledges that, but merely says such details of her duties must remain secret as a matter of imperial scrutiny. Unfortunately, her ladyship had to leave early the next morning, as the Emperor had business down south. Of course, I couldn't detail more specifics. She promised to send me word when she returned, so we can continue our interview. As it turned out, I had business of my own in the Somerset Isle, compiling a book on the Sigic Order. It was therefore with surprise that I met her ladyship 3 months later in Firsthold. We managed to get away from our respective duties to complete our third and final interview. On a walk along the Seto, the great river that passes through the royal parks of the city, steering away from questions of her recent duties and assignments, which I guess rightly she was loath to answer, I returned to the subject of sword fighting. Frendar hunting, she says, lists 38 grips, 750 offensive and 1,800 defensive positions, and nearly 9,000 moves essential to sword mastery. The average hack and slasher knows one grip, which he uses primarily to keep from dropping his blade. He knows one offensive position facing his target and one defensive position fleeing. Of the multitudinous rhythms and inflections of combat, he knows less than one. The ways of the warrior were never meant to be the easiest path. The archetype of the idiot fighter is as solidly ingrained as that of the brilliant wizard and the shrewd thief. It was not always so. The figure of the philosopher swordsman, the blade-wielding artist, are creatures of the past, together with the sword singer of the Red Gods, who was said to be able to create and wield a blade but the power of his mind. The future of this intelligent blade wielder looks bleak in comparison to the glories of the past. Not wanting to end our interview on a sour note, I pressed Lady Elena Binnock for advice for young blade swingers just beginning their careers. When confronted with a wizard, she says, throwing petals of conch leaf into the deseto, close the distance and hit him hard. Wise words and lots of minutes reading a book. It only took 5-6 minutes to read a book. That's the thing about Skyrim. It takes a long time to read a book. But I guess it's more realistic then. I mean, they could have made some of those books shorter since Skyrim. So that way you didn't have to spend who knows how long just reading that book. Oh, it's nighttime. Where to sleep, where to sleep. I just go to the inn.